Hey, welcome to this week's episode of M3. It's kind of windy out here, so I hope you guys can hear me. I'll try to talk a little loud. This week, I just want to take a moment and talk about anger in the forgiveness process. And as I was preparing this, I thought in every family, every group, whether it's church, home, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's always that unappointed person that everybody looks to as the rock. That level headed person that tries everything to hold everything and everyone together. But in some cases, those are the very people that get abused. Those are the very people that wind up in a process where they're seeking forgiveness. But here's the problem: as I stand here near these railroad tracks, right, there are rocks around me everywhere. And this may sound silly, it may sound like a cliche, but rocks don't have emotions. They don't get angry, but we do. You know, when it comes to the forgiveness process, we don't have to be the rock. Uh, in fact, I encourage you to do just the opposite. Sometimes being the strong one means I have to let you know exactly how I feel, because our unresolved anger, when we're dealing with forgiveness or unforgiveness, anger can be worse than whatever caused us to get into this process to begin with. Anger is not necessarily a sin, but if we ignore it in the forgiveness process and we choose not to forgive, our anger can clearly lead to sin. In fact, in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus warns us that if we don't deal with our anger, he guarantees us that we will surely have to answer for it. And when we can't forgive because of our anger, then it means that it's time for us to deal with our anger. I only have a short amount of time with you, and I can just provide a few suggestions in this video. But listen, dealing with our anger is much better than being held in contempt by the Lord. In other words, we need to find a manageable way to start. Here are three things real quick. The first one is talk to somebody that's willing to listen to you, that's not going to diminish how you feel. They're not going to tell you just to simply get over it. And oftentimes when that happens, that's because someone else wants to get on with their life and they're not really concerned about the hurt that's been done to you. The next thing is find a healthy way to deal with your emotions. I would suggest exercise. A is healthy. B, you don't allow things to build up in your system. And then when you see that person again and you have to confront them, you let it all come out. And when we do that, typically that's not really good for us or the other person. And then finally, do a reality check. Protest out loud. Shout if you have to, and let people know, hey, as much as you want me to forgive right now, I'm just not ready to do that. Be honest with yourself and be honest with the people that you may need to forgive, pardon me. Because when we don't, we're simply lying to ourselves and we're lying to other people as well. Listen, before I go, we have a number of events going on up on the hill this week for Resurrection Week, pardon me. We call it Love Week. Go to our Facebook page. You'll see a calendar there. We're going to wrap things up on Saturday morning at 12 o'clock. Where we're going to have a fish fry for the community. It's our interpretation of fish and loaves. Just want to give back to the community. And also on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for you ladies, there is a workshop on Ephesians where we're about to wrap that up as well. Listen, this has been your midweek micro message. Think about it. Anger can be the worst thing. I mean, the absolute worst thing if we don't deal with it in the forgiveness process. Take the opportunity to forgive while you have the chance. We'll see you next week.